when we talk about this whole idea of social media, I know a lot of businesses, have still have some type of reservation around using social media and leveraging it for their business, especially a lot of brick and mortar mom and pops. They don't necessarily see the benefit. And so first, let's kind of break the ground on why should they be using social media for their business?
Okay, so this is probably gonna sound like really crass, but I mean, y'all, social media is not going anywhere.
Mhm,
And, at this point, you gotta poop to get off the pot. Like,
mhm,
the number one rule of marketing is be where your customers are. And people
mhm,
spend way more time on social media. In the United States alone, people spend an average of about an hour and 22 minutes a day on social media. Then when you think about it, like I always tell people, like I feel like the principles of business are never going
mhm.
to change,
Right.
but the channels and the mediums that you reach and connect with your customers, those are always going to be changing, and you have to be willing to evolve. And if you don't, you're going to die. You look at, like,
Mm,
for instance, during COVID, how over 60% of businesses went under and they'll never open again.
never.
Even prior to COVID, you see companies that were huge when we were, younger. So like Sears, they're, what I mean,
Yeah.
struggling. You know what I mean? Toys R
JC
Us,
Penney.
struggle bus, JC Penney, struggling because they did not want to adapt to the new channels and the new mediums. Um, even a company like Blockbuster, right? Non-existent at this point. So
I
it's
think there's
interesting.
one. I think there's one that exists somewhere. I will remember watching on Netflix. Yeah.
It's like what is it, like a museum store? Like
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
can't remember what it was, but it's very odd to me, when I meet people that have had a lot of success offline, and they're like, well, I don't know what happened, and well, it's because things changed and you didn't change with them. So I initially started my business brick and mortar too,
Mhm.
feet on the street, you know what I mean? Knocking on doors. And I did very well with that. But I also was recognizing that there was something to social media, and it was an amazing way to be able to connect with people and other customers, and to be able to build my portfolio and get my name out there. And so I stepped into that. So, I do feel like it's important to have both, right? I have people like an in-person audience, right?
Mhm.
But I also have an online audience. And at the end of the day, you're gonna have to move into it, right? And if
Right.
you don't deal with it, it's gonna deal with you.